Parasite Eve, written by Hideki Sena, filled with scientific acuity and existential challenges in the tradition of Ghost in the Shell and Frankenstein. This medical phantasmagoria is a disorienting look into consciousness, and will have you questioning the future of human evolution. New life begins at the cellular level, but when that cell contains restless mitochondria, it will aspire to be much more than just a speck in a petri dish. Parasite Eve was the basis of a hugely popular video game of the same name, and has been cinematized in Japan, where the novel's smashing success helped set off a horror boom that has only been intensifying ever since. When Dr. Nagashima loses his wife in a mysterious car crash, he is overwhelmed with grief but also an eerie sense of purpose. He becomes obsessed with the idea that he must reincarnate his dead wife. Her donated kidney is transplanted into a young girl with a debilitating disorder, but the doctor also feels compelled to keep a small sample of her liver in his laboratory. When these cells start mutating rapidly, a consciousness bent on determining its own fate awakens from an eonic sleep. Hideki Sena is a Japanese pharmacologist and novelist. Sena was a graduate student at Tohoku University when he wrote his prize-winning debut novel, Parasite Eve, born January 17, 1968. The film adaptation, released in 1997 and released on the 1st of February in Japan only, took around 8 weeks to film and 550 million yen to make. Directed by Masayuki Ochiai, who had produced and directed some minor television horror, regrets that the production company insisted on a accentuated love subplot which he felt compromised the overall integrity of the film. Regardless of which, it still garnered positive reviews and went on to spawn 3 sequels in the form of video games. The game adaptation, published on 29th March 1998. The biological horror theme stands separate from the novel and film, but does offer backstory into each of them. The story follows an intelligent, half-Caucasian, half-Japanese New York City police officer named Aya Bray, and her struggle against an ancient evil called Eve, threatening humanity, animals, and all life on Earth. Parasite Eve 2 is the sequel to the first. It was published and developed for the Sony PlayStation, released in December 16, 1999 in Japan, and set 3 years after the events in the original game. Aya Bray is pulled into a new battle in the American Southwest against the NMC creature she battled in the Manhattan Nemesis, where Aya discovers a conspiracy that seeks to replace humans as the dominant species on Earth. The third game is an extension of the previous 2 on a different system called the PSP, released December 22, 2010. Aya Bray, along with other characters from the series, returning to conclude the series trilogy with a persistent horror theme.